Hi, I have seen a number of videos and demonstrations on how to measure brickwork, and I thought I'd share the way that I do things. Now, the first thing you'll notice when I'm doing this is I am no sort of presenter or trainer, so you'll have to forgive the amount of umming and ahhing and pauses throughout this video. But hopefully you'll find it informative, and I welcome any feedback that anyone's got. Now, I'll say from the outset that for any Bluebeam enthusiasts out there, I'm showing you the drawings on Bluebeam, but I don't really use Bluebeam at all for this measuring, but I do use it when I'm measuring groundworks, and there are some quite complicated things that I do with Bluebeam, which are then exported into Excel, and I'll try and do some videos on that at another time. So I'll start now by just quickly showing you the drawings that I'm looking at for this. Quite nice, simple terrace of houses, and I want to measure each one individually. And so I've got front and rear elevations, I've got some sections, end elevations, ground floor and roof plan and first floor plan. You'll notice there's a few different features on here: arched headers, soldier seals, etc. And on the end elevation we've got some raking brickwork, and on the roof plan we've got some spandrel panels. So I've actually printed up a hard set of these drawings, and I do the old-fashioned way with some highlighter pens, but hopefully, as I say, you'll follow with what I'm doing. Now, the spreadsheet that I use is here, and I've got a few pages, or tabs I should say. First one, just summary information about the project. I'll double click on that, bring up today's date. I can put in the tender number, client details, site details, some general bits about the site, and here I've got some breakdown stages which you will see being used later on. I've got a summary page which will also be filled out later on, plot breakdown. I've got some other breakdown pages. I've got a set of notes which are standard notes and when I can add to later on, and I've got a spare takeoff page if I need it, and I've got a rates page. Now this is all linked to a schedule of day rates for the men, so all of the rates are worked out from that. You can see I've got a split between labour, mortar and sundries. I can turn these on and off as I require, and I can change the rates by applying an increase, etc. Any increase that I will apply, so if I put 5% on the brickwork, it changes all the rates throughout the bill. Let's put that back to 0. I've got the same for the scaffolding. These rates are kind of out of date now, but this is just for showing you roughly what everything does. So now I've got a page for measuring garages and a page for measuring houses. Now I've set up some generic templates, and I've got quite a lot of detail in here, but this is, as I say, it's all generic, so I can change things like standard window sizes and things like that. So I'm almost at the end of this bit of the video, and then I will do another video showing how I actually do my measures. So here we go with the measures. First thing I want to do is move across. Now I don't want to over type my template because I want to keep that. So I double click on here. I'm doing a 2-story house. Double click, it brings up this. I'm just going to say end unit. Now I'm going to enter some details about it. I've got front and back, I've got sides. Now the front and back are 0.303 plus 4.662 plus half of the party wall, which is 0.15. Front to back is 8.54. Here I haven't got any details for telescopic vents, so this works out automatically based on a formula, gives me some allowances. Now with regards to measures, these measures from up here come through straight away, and I put a height against the building, so I'm saying it's 66 courses high. This works, so these fill out. This is my top out, so I've got dimension starting there, and to get the top out, now this has got a 35-degree pitch. I've put a formula in here. I can say pitch 35, and it works out my gable sizes for me. Now I come down to my deductions. I'll get my marker pens out. Now just very quickly, I've got a front door which is 0.94. I've got a rear door which is 2.4. Coming down to the windows, I've got one of these windows, and I've got a 1.2 by 1.05. That's my ground floor windows. Come to the first floor, I've got a 1.12 by 1.05, 1.2 by 1.2, and I've got a 1.77 by 1.2. So that's my windows taken out. Everything is linked to rates, which can be changed. I can make adjustments for block work in lieu of face work, say you've got rendering or tile hanging. Cleaning down and making good, so this is just a general allowance. End terrace unit, I'm going to say 0.75 there. Now, stone seals, get a different colour marker pen out. I've got, stone seals, soldier seals, 1.488 on the ground floor, and I've got one at 1.2. Coming up to the first floor, I've got 2 at 1.2 and 1 at 1.77. Soldier heads, I've got 1 over the 0.488 and I've got 1 over the 2.4 patio doors. Got none on the first floor because we're up at soffit level. Curved splayed headers, I've got 1 window at the front which is 1.2 wide. Oh, I've missed the soldier header to the front door, which is 0.94. So that's those measured. Got no stone seals, stone jams. I've got no projecting band courses on this, but as you can see, the dimensions from the start have been brought forward. So say I did have a projecting band course all the way around the building. So two front and back, 1 for the end. It's allocated to the second lift. But if I wanted to, I could change that to third lift, and that's third lift as well. Party walls, I've got half the party wall to this unit. Now I've got spandrel panels, so I'm going to use this one here to pick up the party wall measures. Got no internal block work. I've got raking brickwork to the gables, so this is worked out on a formula, brings it back through automatically. I've got 2 of those. Basically, oh, and this automatically works out if I've got bed reinforcement above and below windows, it brings it forward the information from above. Return door reveals, this client likes those, so there's a bit of extra work. And I think that is, oh, gable ends, we've got a saving for the block work on the gable ends, so I can do 0.5 for that. And that for it Sorry, I ran out of time on that last video. This is all quite new to me. Just realised that for this I actually need to add back the course of block work that goes above plate level. So I need to add back in one course of block work at that height, sorry, that length times 0.225 high. I am not going to allocate any screen walls to this, and I've got no special porch details. So that's my brickwork measured. I'm coming down here. As you can see, this is picking up all of the splits from above. I've got the opportunity to say on ground floor how I want to take the brickwork, how much the first lift is, second lift, and this does actually break everything down amongst the lifts properly, instead of using the old kind of 25% first lift, 20% second lift, etc. Then I've got my scaffolding into this, so I can say I know that I want a loading bay to the terrace, so I'll measure half a loading bay to each end unit. No ladder beams, no dormers. In the same way I'm measuring the loading bay, I have a staircase tower. Blocking lifts that are measured, I can say how many floors I've got. I want 2 lifts per floor. If I had 3 floors, I'd adjust that, but I've only got 2 floors. And I know that I want to allow 5 meters to the gables. Haven't got any adaptations on this. I'll allow some hours for re-erecting to the front porches. I've got no internal scaffolds because I'm going to use bird cages. And so I've got a client that likes a progressive dismantle on the scaffold, so once you've re-erected at the first floor height, so I have 2 and 1. Oh, I haven't filled in that, so it tells me I need to put something in there. I'm going to call that progressive strike. At the bottom of here, I can, once again, everything's allocated, how my breakdowns are done. And that is it for measuring the end unit. So that didn't take too long. Now what if I want to measure the mid unit? So I can double click on here. I can say I want to copy the end unit. I'll call it mid unit. And I'm going to know that instead of 0.303 the end wall, I've got another half a party wall. I've got no end elevation, so that is all worked out. My windows and doors, fortunately for this one, don't change, so I can leave all of that as is. That's worked out. My cleaning down becomes half. All my soldier courses stay the same, but it's quite easy to adjust them if something's changed. So I come down here. If I had my projecting band course, obviously I wouldn't have one end elevation. Come down a bit further. Now I've got, I'm going to have 2 party walls, so I want 2 times a half, if that makes sense. So I end up with 1 full party wall allocated to this unit. I've got no raking brickwork, and bed reinforcements worked out to the windows. I mean, you can obviously change this to allow for lintels instead of bed reinforcement, or you can add sections for lintels. I've got no gable end wall adjustments. This can come out. So that is my brickwork measured on the mid unit. Everything's broken down. Now, because I only want 1 loading bay to this terrace of 3, I can take the loading bay allowance out there. I can take the scaffold, that allowance out there. I'm going to have no gable end scaffolds. Still got a porch, and still got bird cages, but I'm going to miss the end of my progressive dismantle as well. And that is the scaffolding measured on the mid unit as well. So in the next video I will show you what we end up with, which is going to be put onto this page here. So what do we do with the measures once we've got them? Right, I come to my summary page. You can see we've got our end unit, our mid unit here. This is a combined scaffolding and brickwork price. My unit numbers for the end units are 292, 294, 295 and 297. My mid units are 293 and 295. Oh no, not 5, 296. So we've entered those. If I now come to my plot breakdown page, I can actually put the plot numbers in. So Excel's a bit slow at this, just it's doing a lot of information. This is why I've got stop automatic updates up here. That's for another time though, so I can get rid of these units here. So I've got my units, but we want more information than that. So if I go to my plot breakdown page, hit this button, there's a bit of working out, and here I have my full breakdown. And you will see we've got the totals here, but over to the side I've got a split of the labour values, mortar and sundry materials fully broken down, and that is done into those lift heights etc. that we put in earlier. So that's great for us to use, but what else do we need? We need a breakdown from the client. So if I just update this breakdown, this creates a new breakdown, basically as before. It hasn't got the other details, but this is literally just values only, no formulas, which is great for the client. But how do we get this to the client? Come back to the details page, got this little scroll up here. I can go save version for submission. It brings me up all the pages. I know that I want the details page, I want the plot breakdown, submission breakdown. It doesn't give me the option of sending the payment breakdown because that gives the client too much detail, and I can send my tender notes as well. I hit export, it spins for a bit, and what it's doing now is creating a new workbook or new spreadsheet for the client. It tells me I've created that. It tells me where it is, and I'll show you that in a minute. What this also gives me the chance to do is, if I go back to my rates page, I can hit a button saying update quantities. Now what this does is it goes through the bill, looks at these rates here, does a bit of magic. This does take a little bit of time, unfortunately, because Excel just isn't that quick. So I'll pause this. Oh no, it's done. So it took 21 seconds, and you can see the quantities of each of the items that I've got in the bill. And that is it for measuring those house types, getting the breakdown. Now I'll just quickly find my the other page or spreadsheet that's been created. Remember where I saved it. Just pause this. Sorry, I hit stop instead of pause. As I said, I'm quite new to this, but I'm just going to open the spreadsheet that I said had been created for the client. Here we go. So I've got the summary page, I've got a breakdown, I've got the submission breakdown, and I've got the notes. But none of this has got formulas, and this size of this file is actually 153 kilobytes. So easily emailable, and yeah, that's it really. So hopefully you found this interesting, and welcome any comments that anyone's got. Thanks very much. Bye.